Hello and welcome back to the Baggies Podcast YouTube channel, where of course we're giving you all the latest news, views and opinions on all things Albion. We're back again today with, I suppose, a video that we haven't done for nearly a year now. West Bromwich Albion have of course unveiled their brand new home kit for the 22-23 season. Still feels weird saying that, being as it's so close after the previous season finishing, but we're into the new season now, into all the transfer window. And yeah, today we'll be taking a run through Albion's new home kit, having a look, sort of giving it a rating out of 10, that kind of thing. We did it last year with all three of the kits. I'm not sure if we'll do it with all three this year, as I think it was a bit got a bit pointless towards the end of that series, but we'll definitely do a video for both the away and the third kit. But make sure you stick around today for the home kit and for my analysis of it, I guess. I don't know how you can analyse a kit, but you know, we'll do our best. Make sure you drop your comments down below on what you think of Albion's new kit. The stripes are back. How are you feeling about it? Will you be buying it? Drop your comments down below and give it a rating out of 10 if you want to as well. But before we crack on, make sure you subscribe to the Baggies Podcast YouTube channel for all your latest news and Albion rumours just like this. Yeah, for more of that, make sure you click subscribe, turn your notification bell on as well. Never miss an upload. You'll always get a notification when a new video comes through. So let's crack on. Let's talk home kits. It's Albion's home kit for the 22-23 season. You're watching the Baggies Podcast YouTube channel. For match previews, match day vlogs, match reactions and more, make sure to subscribe to the Baggies Podcast YouTube channel. So let's crack on. Let's firstly show you, I can't remember which side I'm going to stick it on, but yeah, let's have a look at the new kit for the 22-23 season. We'll get into a little bit about that, but firstly let's read what the website says and exactly what what sort of inspiration went behind this, because it's always nice to know that with sort of a kit designer and how they've gone about creating the kit. So excuse me as I kind of look over here for this part of the video, but keep your eyes on the nice pretty kit wherever it's gone. Albion are delighted to unveil a supporter-designed home kit for the 22-23 season. The shirt, which was created by the fans for the fans, takes inspiration from the famous knitted kit worn by club legends Tony "Bomber" Brown, Cyril Regis, Brian Robson and others in the late 1970s. The exciting feature includes the iconic WBA lettering instead of the club crest, while the traditional blue and white stripes incorporate jagged edges as seen on the original. So I'll stick a sort of picture as that of that original now. Yeah, it's a really interesting kit, isn't it? Of course, you can see Cyril Regis here just wearing that. So yeah, I think that's lovely, and I think that's a really nice touch for Albion to stick that in. And yeah, I mean, it's mad. I mean, the way that they've done it, and it's really nice to see. It's really nice to see that they're playing on their past, and you know, Puma, although they have produced a couple of dodgy kits during their time at Albion, they really do know how to sort of tug on those historic elements of Albion. Yeah, let's carry on with that statement. A group of supporters from the Albion Assembly formed a subcommittee in 2021 to design the kit, linking it with Puma and the Baggies retail team to make their dream home shirt. Today, their design becomes a reality and are thrilled with the outcome. Yeah, lifelong Baggies fans and Albion Assembly members. Yeah, it's fantastic. The shirt is also made from 100% recycled polyester using ethically sourced material with a wicking finish. Yeah, it's fantastic. I mean, yeah, first thoughts on it. I mean, I really like it. I'm a big fan of how it's been fan made. It's really nice to see because, as I said, Puma have had some dodgy shirts. Maybe not. I wouldn't say home shirts have been dodgy. I've quite liked their home shirts since they sort of came in. I think that was just after we got relegated. That first time, under Pardew, Darren Moore, whatever you want to say. Yeah, I'm really a fan of this one. I really like the playing on the history. You know, I always love that sort of thing. You know, if you watch the channel before, you'll see. You know, I've always been a massive fan of sort of playing on that history, and you know, we have to get back to that, and we have to get back to that to the great players and the great team, and that's sort of what we're aspiring to do this season by trying to win as many games as we can and preventing a mid-table finish again this season. So yeah, it's an Albion kit. That's what it is. And I think last year's home shirt, although I was a big fan of it, you know, I've got it. I can see it hung up over there. I wasn't really a massive, fan of there being not really any stripes. It's a bit more of a penguin kit, which is fine. You know, the club, they want to do things differently. You have to sort of take a bit of a gamble in kits sometimes because that's the way it is. You know, clubs don't often have exactly the same home shirt every season. You have to make a little twist, and that was their twist last season. I personally really like it as a kit, but is it Albion? Probably not. And I think that's where I stand with this one, which is where it really is Albion. And I think, at first glance, I thought, actually, I'm not really a massive fan of that. And I think that's a little bit cynical at me. But then I've had a look at some of the players wearing it, and you know, I think DK looks great in it, because I think, you know, what a part he's going to have to play next season. You know, the women's team as well, also wearing that kit this season, which is lovely with the Ideal sponsor. I think that's the first time that they'll also be sponsored by Ideal for Albion. And yeah, I think it's a really good kit, and I think, you know, every player I think has had a picture in it, and I just think it's a really nice touch having that WBA logo. I think that's an interesting point, because, you know, you look at that, and I look straight back to the, you know, the times where I've got pictures sort of loitering behind me of those times, you know, with that WBA logo, and I've always really liked that, and I think, you know, it really takes me back to sort of those, well, not that I was there, but those olden times, and those times where, you know, these legends of the club played, and, you know, it would take you know, sort of older members of the fan base back to playing in those, you know, those times in the 70s, 80s. And yeah, I think it's fantastic, and, you know, I really like the WBA. I've always wanted to see that on a shirt. I don't think they've done that for such a long time. And yeah, as I said, it's a really classic touch, and I'm a big fan of it. And yeah, they all look great in it, to be honest. I think on the players it looks a bit better than perhaps it does in the shop, because in the shop it looks a little bit washed out by the white out down the sides. But yeah, I think, yeah, it just takes inspiration from that famous knitted kit, and I think that's a really lovely touch. And, you know, seeing it being worn by the likes of, you know, Cyril Regis, Bomber Brown, Ali Robertson as well. Yeah, it's really nice to see, and I think that just provides an extra touch. And yeah, it kind of reminds me of that 09-010 home shirt as well that we got promoted in under Di Matteo, I think it was, in the end. I think that's a really nice touch, and I'm a big fan of that as well. It was one of my first seasons sort of watching the club. I think it's the kind of the glimmers outside the stripes, I think, is really nice. And yeah, I think I wasn't quite a fan of looking at it on the club website, as I said, but when it's on the players, you think it's a little bit different. And yeah, seeing John Swift, of course, a new signing in it as well. Yeah, it's a really, really nice touch, and I think that works quite well with what Albion are trying to do. They're trying to get back to where they are, and I think this is a nice statement of where they were. Sorry, and this is quite a nice statement of really, you know, this is just fantastic, and I think that Albion have done a really nice, and yeah, I think, yeah, probably the nicest shirt we've had since sort of my first season as a season ticket holder, which was 2010-11. That's my favourite ever shirt, and brings a little bit of a remnants to that with the way that it's kind of knitted and kind of crosses over with those stripes and fades into them, with a bit of a sort of jagged edges, as it said in the sort of description. Yeah, I really like the collar as well. I think the collar adds a lot to it. I think that, yeah, it's an ace kit. It's a classic kit, and I think Albion's supporters, more importantly, and the kit designer haven't done, have done fantastically. I'm not quite a fan of the sponsor. I think that's probably something it's the white against white. I think that doesn't quite suit it, but with the blue border, maybe it looks quite okay. I can't believe I've rambled on this much about a kit, but yeah, I think it's fantastic. And at first glance, as I said, like last year, I was kind of like, ooh, that's a bit, no, I wouldn't have that. But then I look at this this new design. I look at it with the players, and yeah, you see what it means to fans, and I think that's a part of kind of resurfacing this history and kind of trying to regather the fan base and bring them back to sort of where they were. And I think this goes a big way and a long way to doing so, because you have to be able to identify with the club. And I think last season, I'm not saying the stripes disappearing were a big part of the disappointment on the pitch, but it felt a bit disconnected. And I'm not saying that's because of the kit, but you look at the kit this season and you feel like there's a bit more of a connection, whereas with no stripes, I don't think there is much connection. And I think that may, it just symbolises really what happened last season, and hopefully what's going to happen this season, which is where a lot of Albion fans that turned away at the start of last season now come back to support the club they love, and I think that's really great. So yeah, I look forward to seeing Albion's new signings, Jed Wallace and John Swift, play in that kit. We've seen a couple of pictures of John Swift in there, but make sure you check out the other videos on the channel about John Swift and Jed Wallace. There's 2 each, one of course an initial reaction to their signing, and another one featuring either a Reading fan, which was Mr. Adam Jones, or Omar from That Millwall podcast both came on the channel to give us a little bit of an insight. So make sure you check that out. Both worth a watch, if I must say so myself. A final rating for the kit, I'll give it a 9 out of 10. I think that's probably fair, just because of that first glance, and I sort of looked at it and went, like that, you know. But I'm a big fan, you know, white shorts, white socks. I think we're going to look really clean, and it kind of takes me back to that first season where we came down, and a little bit like that. So yeah, looking forward to seeing how the players play in it. That's the most important thing at the end. The kit is irrelevant really when the players are putting on a performance in it. But yeah, really big fan of it. 9 out of 10 from me. Drop your comments down below. Let me know how you feel about it. But that brings me to the end of this Baggies podcast kit reaction. Make sure you subscribe, and I'll see you in the next one. Goodbye.